will come
He
back.
came on a qualifying offer.
Neil Walker can play second and third, by the way.
Yeah,
he doesn't
and
just have to play
he's a
second
decent
base.
bet. I mean, if I were the Mets and you're out of contention in July, you're trading everybody that's a
Yeah.
free agent. And
I
you're
mean,
stocking
You trade
the
about
farm
6 or
system.
7 players.
Cabrera will
after
now
that
be
roster.
available because he's expiring, and they've got
Stinks.
Rosario.
He stinks.
Yeah,
Just
Granderson
bring Rosario
will
up.
be traded.
That's it.
Yeah, well, Rosario's coming up. We clearly know that he's coming up.
We all knew that he was a quick fix,
Yeah.
Cabrera.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was amazing last year, but no one expected that. I mean, he was a second baseman converted
It
back
was
to
supposed to be
shortstop.
Tejada for a while, but Tejada got hurt. You
Yeah.
know, the whole Chase
Tejada's
Utley
now
thing.
with the Orioles.
And so that was supposed to be the guy till everyone was just still waiting till Rosario.
exactly.
It was going to be from Reyes to Rosario.
Yeah, and they still have Reyes, and Reyes is doing okay. And
No, he's not.
Yeah,
He's under 200.
he's
Who are you
just-
kidding?
But he doesn't. They don't pay. They don't pay him anything. But
Better
he hasn't been
defense.
bad the last 10 days. He's been okay.
Wow,
Reyes.
10 days.
Left.
Yeah, that makes up for betting under the
See,
Mendoza line
you
for
guys,
2.5
you
months.
youngins forget that baseball is a warm weather sport. So I don't pay attention to anything until the weather happens. When it's warm weather, power hitters love the weather. They love the big crowds. They love the Sundays. They love the sun.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be great when it's sunny out and the Mets are 15 games under 500, and it's not going to matter.
No.
They haven't even played.
I'm a diehard Mets fan.
Yeah,
Listen,
me
I'm
too.
Have they
as
played
diehard as they come.
Have they played a
and
third?
I'm not
But it's been a
feeling good
third
about
of the
this year.
season, right? It's the third of the
Yeah,
season.
about that.
So there's 2/3
The
to
Mets have an
go.
awful bullpen now. That bullpen
Well,
is
that's
awful.
they're
That's an
undermanned.
awful bullpen.
There's nothing you could have done,
in my
right?
life.
That they were trading like quad A pitchers. They were trading guys like Barrett and Yanoa.
Yep.
And they were talking to this in the early spring and the winter last year about how they need to trade an arm. They need to trade an arm. What happens?
Yeah.
Everybody's hurt.
Lugo's hurt.
Thor
yeah.
is gone
Yeah.
till August,
Yeah.
which breaks my heart. Matt
Yeah.
Harvey stinks.
Yeah, well, that's
he's done.
Yeah,
They
DeGrom
should
is
have
trying to
traded
hold the
him.
fort.
Syndergaard.
DeGrom is trying to hold the
fort.
I don't know what's
He has
going on with
literally
DeGrom.
sunk my fantasy
Yeah.
team this year. It's killing
DeGrom,
me.
he's still getting the strikeouts though because
Yeah.
he's around the plate, which is why they're hitting him too. It's
Yeah.
batting practice.
But
Wheeler looked
Lugo-
good yesterday.
Wheeler looks pretty good. I think he's kind of the unsung hero of the Mets right now.
I mean, they're
because he's been
expecting a lot
steady.
in getting Lugo back. And who they're getting? I mean,
Steve
Cespedes is, Steven Matz. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
they're expecting.
the bullpen is terrible. You couldn't have expected Familia going down all year.
Yeah.
Though I think they could have expected Syndergaard going down
With the
because he gained 20 pounds of
weightlifting.
muscle
Oh,
and
look at me
never
with the-
threw a single
I
pitch
know.
in the offseason.
He comes back. I added 20 pounds of muscle. Pitchers aren't supposed. Look at Greg Maddux.
Well, you know what? You heard Bobby Ojeda and
Yeah.
Nelson Figueroa. And there were a couple other guys. They were saying what he did was not good.
Yeah,
and it
pitchers
was
should
gonna
not do that.
happen.
Right.
And sure enough, within a month, he's got a lat tear.
Yeah, exactly.
But Familia's out, and I honestly, even if Cespedes comes back, what are they going to do? They're going to have to get hot.
And then-
I'm
really,
telling
really
you,
hot.
I'm looking
believe-
forward
No,
to
no,
this. Why the Nationals are also playing really well.
Yeah, I believe.
I had my prediction at the beginning of the year. I said the Mets are not going to make the playoffs. I said the Nationals are going to do really good this year, and it's going to be hard to make the wild card.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I thought the Mets were going to make the wild card.
They got to jump over 7 teams for the wild card.
I
spot
still
for the wild
believe.
card.
I'm still believing. What is it? 7 games under 500 right now?
Too. I just can't. After
I'm-
watching,
I can't with
especially
that
last
bullpen.
year.
Because it's still June single digits right now. June 8th, right?
Exactly. And not for nothing, they're lucky that the Braves and the Marlins and the
Are
Phillies
just
all
horrible.
stink.
They're just
They
horrible.
stink,
Yeah.
you know? And-
The Phillies aren't even playing
I
worthy
mean,
of.
the Mets could barely squeak in and be like one of the 2 wild card teams,
Right.
maybe.
But they have
And
to
not for-
beat the
not
bad
for nothing.
teams,
The
like they
National
did
League
last year.
Central has been really weak too.
Yeah,
the Cubs have not
Cardinals
been
just
very
got
good.
swept by the Reds.
Yeah, the Cardinals aren't that good.
Yeah.
The Pirates aren't that good, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's going to help them.
Right.
The National League as
That's
a
right.
whole.
I mean,
Well,
it's going to be the Dodgers. At the end of the day.
Milwaukee's in first place.
Yeah, exactly. That's not
They were
gonna
in last
happen.
place
Craig
last
Counsell.
year.
Well, for a
Milwaukee's
National
got
League
some
wild
bats.
card, how many wins is it
Yeah.
going to take? It's going to only take like 82 wins, 83 wins. It's not going to take
Yeah.
a lot
a
of
little
wins
bit
this
over
year.
80.
And remember, and it's 2 wild card spots to get that one game.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying.
you
One
get
of the
that
wild
second
card
wild card
spots
spot,
is
and
how you
then anything
get
can
a winner.
happen. Yeah.
Listen, I believe.
I mean, and the Giants,
After last year,
who everyone thinks the Giants
Giants
are good.
stink.
The Giants are horrible.
The West has
They're
been
going
so
to
good
probably
this
Padres
year.
are
Cueto
horrible.
away
Padres aren't even a major league
and a
team.
couple other guys away.
yeah, if you're not really talking about the Dodgers or like the
Well,
Nationals,
you know what?
it's like it's them two, and then it's
Yeah, it's
everybody
top-heavy.
else.
You
And
But
then
what I
that's
think
it.
is going to surprise people: the Diamondbacks. They got some bats.
They
Paul
do.
Goldschmidt.
Well, look at Colorado's bats.
Well,
Yeah.
Colorado, I think.
Holy
Trevor
moly.
Story has been doing anything.
Well, forget
Yeah,
about
you know-
Arenado and Blackman alone.
Yeah.
Blackman, the most underrated superstar in the game. The guy
Well, you know
is
why? Is
phenomenal.
because up until this year, his home away splits were bad.
Correct. Everyone said,
he
oh,
was
it's just
he was
like
a monster in
he's a
Colorado.
Coors guy.
He was
Yeah.
average, but this year he's been doing it on the road too, which I
Right.
think is
And
pretty
his numbers
impressive.
are great on the road.
And which is surprising about Colorado because they've literally never had this before. Their starting rotation isn't terrible.
They've gotten
Kyle
guys who know
Freeland
how to
came
pitch
out
there.
out of nowhere.
Right.
He's been really good. I know because he's also on my fantasy team.
Oh.
John
that's
Gray throws 98 miles an hour.
The Rockies have now been a team for 25 years. So you've got pitchers who didn't know that going to Colorado is a bad thing, So the guys grew up, they start the major. You also have 81 games on the road. So you can pitch, it's...
Well, you know what? Most of the pitchers they developed.
They developed,
They
so they
came up
know.
from the system,
and
so I
they're
feel
in the
like after a
Sky
while-
Sox. They have a minor league affiliate in Colorado, so they have a high altitude affiliate. So
Yeah,
they get
man.
used to it. Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for me.
All right, Rob Brill,
Bye,
midnight,
everybody.
Saturday
Bye,
night, metal for the masses, where they sound like Cookie Monster, as he always says.
So I saw Cole pitch against the Mets 2 times. I don't want the Yankees to trade for
Well,
Cole.
he's on the trading block for sure, Garrett
Oh,
Cole.
I don't want him. He looks horrible, and he's pitching bad in the National League. If he faces all these American League East teams, he's going to do far worse. And I just don't want Cole. I don't know which pitcher would be good for the Yankees.
Well, we're
going to
see the Archer sweepstakes. We're going to see the Cole sweepstakes. There's going to be pitchers that are out there.
Well, they mention Archer every year because they mention every good pitcher
Right.
from Tampa every year because that's just a story, a media story.
That's exactly
that's like
right.
Brooke Lopez in the NBA.
Right.
Yeah, Brooke Lopez is getting traded every year.
Everywhere. We're getting traded.
Dwight
everywhere.
Howard, how many years in a row
Yeah,
was that?
Dwight
he was on
Howard.
Sports
What a waste of talent.
He was on Sports Center today talking about defense, and I said, Dwight Howard, listen, this is not 09, 2010. I don't want to hear you talk about
the only
defense.
thing that he has with is that Dwight and defense start with D.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. This is not 09 or 10. I don't even know why they brought him on the show. I just changed the channel after
He's
that.
not a man-child anymore.
Yeah, like, come
Well,
on.
I was making the point before Rob came in that Steve Kerr, he's a coach. He's a real coach. And even Luke Walton last year was a real coach. Tyronn Lue is not a coach. So so the Cavaliers are the Cavaliers are reaping what they sowed. They let LeBron become the coach, the de facto coach, and they just put a yes man there who's just
They had one
Well,
of
he's
the top.
basically the coach and the GM too.
Yeah,
'cause
he is.
knows what wants.
That's
players
right.
he wants,
So
on
they
the
go
team
and get a guy
everything,
who has no strategies, no play calling ability, no nothing.
No.
And so when
The
LeBron,
figurehead.
when nothing's happening on the court, it's like, what do you want me to do? I'm just a friend of LeBron.
They had the top guy who won a European championship.
Yeah.
So
They just-
David Blatt.
Yeah.
And
they
then
just-
it came out on Bleacher Report today that this was going to happen a long time ago. Draymond Green, after the Game 7 loss, was in his parking lot, and he called Kevin Durant from then. The same day after they lost, he called Kevin Durant while he was in the parking lot. This was going to happen
Right.
a while ago.
How did they have all that cap room to get Kevin Durant? That's what I want to
think
know.
he took a cut.
Well, they had to get rid of a lot of
It
players.
was like a 2-year, like 40-something million. He's really legit chasing a ring.
Wow.
Just chasing a
And
ring.
is it fair to say? Can we open up for discussion? I've heard this on Stephen A. Smith today. Is it changing at the guard in the NBA now? From it's not LeBron's league anymore if he doesn't win.
No, it's still LeBron's league.
Yeah,
Listen,
it's
he's
Well, he
facing.
comes out of the East all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand LeBron is the greatest player in the NBA, right? But he's facing the second and third best player at one time right now, with a great cast around him. So maybe
it's
being
one
number one is not
championship.
always better. Yeah, being one is not always. You know what I'm saying?
If you were that good of a player,
No.
No.
You can't will yourself to a championship. Not when you're
Yeah, but he won
outmatched
championships
by
with
these
two
other.
different teams. The Heat
Yeah.
and
He's-
Cleveland.
They
That's
did it last
really
year.
impressive.
I know, but they didn't
last
have
year's Kevin Durant. That's what it's like.
Kevin Durant
touched
and
the
also
scale.
the evolution of these other guys. The other guys in the Warriors have gotten better.
Yeah.
You know.
Iguodala is not hurt. You know,
No.
Sean Livingston is giving great minutes. And the thing about Sean Livingston too is that David West is playing good. You know, he's
And
physical.
McGee,
They got a
who's
great
a-
team.
JaVale McGee
12.
comes. Exactly. The only person who's not playing good on the Warriors right now is Zaza. That's it.
Yeah, well,
Apart from him, the Warriors are in sync. They're focused, and then it's you know what I mean.
the one thing the Cavs did good yesterday was not play Darren Williams.
Yeah,
And it's also, I want to use stronger language.
Darren Williams,
I want to use stronger language in this, but it's also, I'll just say it's a different game. The three-pointer is so, I love that jump shots have come back to the NBA because it's something you can teach in your driveway and learn, but it is kind of a, I don't want to say less manly way, but back in my day, but in terms of just the three-pointer, just hanging out on the line and shooting threes all day, it's not, it's not.
you can't put the hands on these offensive players either.
Right.
So
It's
like football too. You can't put
no
hands
one's
on
driving
wide
the hoop.
receiver after 5 yards.
I remember how everyone used to talk about how dunks by 7-foot guys were an unfair advantage, blah, blah, blah. Every player was a dunk, whatever. But at least I'd like guys who would drive the hoop or guys who would take a standing set shot. But now it's just, I'm going to hang out here, and then the ball will get kicked back to me, and I'll shoot a 3. And by math, 3 is better than 2, you know.
Top 5, 3 out of the top 5, I'll probably say shooters in the league is on one team. That's what we got to realize.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got Draymond Green who could shoot it too, and then Iguodala comes. Yes, he missed sometimes, but he's such a great defender. And then Iguodala hits that 3-point shot when he needs to, basically, when it's necessary. This team is just too much right now. LeBron and Kyrie's not enough.
If you remember when they always used to have upsets in like the first round of the NCAAs, there'd be some team that only shoots 3s all day. You'd be like, you know, some Northeastern...
Like Curry when he was on Davidson.
Yeah, they would just shoot 3s all day. And they'd win that. They'd upset Stanford. Whoever, they'd upset somebody. Yeah. And then the next game...
They get blown out.
It doesn't fall, right? It doesn't fall. And you get it. And that's what usually happens. These Warriors are a different team. They're just so good. They're just so good. You know, so they're just got great players. They got a good coach. He's got a good system. All right, Dan from Bethpage, thanks for checking in.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too. Check it out. We got the Belmont Stakes this weekend, by the way. So for anyone who likes to go out to a Nassau County property, go head out to Elmont and go to the Belmont Stakes on Saturday.
I'm not taking the local road.
And sit in traffic.
I'm not doing that.
And it's also the one time there's an entrance right by Floral Park Belrose School in Floral Park that's only open once a year, and it's that day. They have the residents of that one street, I don't know if it's West Elder, West Street, they have a key to open that one gate so traffic can leave.
That traffic.
The neighbors must not be happy about that.
Well, I remember, I was just thinking, I had one of my best friends in high school, he lived on Crocus, and his parents had his graduation party that day. Belmont Day. I remember thinking that, and it was crazy.
It makes sense, though. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, well, you need to go another way out.
But of all the exits, I wouldn't go that way.
No,
because guess who's waiting right at the exit?
A Floral Park cops.
Yeah. So.
516-572-7440, 516-572-7440. That's the number to call. We'd love to hear from you. It's Tristan, it's Mark, I'm Chris, and it's birthday boy KJ Brooks. So 516-572-7440. We just spent about a half an hour talking Cavs Warriors. So I mean, they're certainly top of mind these days.
How do you guys feel about this? I heard that the Jets was going to clean house. But this is a sweep. This
personally offended. I've never been so. I mean, a lot of things in sports over my years and years of living have bothered me, but from just like being offended by what a team did in terms of like that's just criminal. I mean, it's not criminal, but that's the phrase I was thinking. They go and they release the only good player on their team, David Harris, the only good player, and they don't do it. They don't do it when they should have done and cut everyone else, so he could be a free agent and get signed to a good team. They do it now after they asked him to take a pay cut first. Yeah. Oh, sorry, didn't take a pay cut.
But they did the same thing last year with Jabrika Ferguson, and he retired.
Yeah, well, Ferguson didn't have anything left in the tank, so he was retiring anyway.
And then they brought back DeMario Davis.
Oh.
And that
that's a Moneyball deal.
Yeah, how do you get back DeMario Davis? Yeah. And then. Oh God! When I saw that,
that's a Moneyball deal. So now everyone's becoming, because it was the Browns, it was the Jets. Everyone's becoming cutesy because now you got Paul Podesta, the ex-Met assistant GM, is now doing football with the Browns. It was like, okay, he was a free agent for us this year. You drafted him as a third-round pick at Arkansas State. He's a linebacker who knows your system. He wants to go back to the Jets, and we'll take off your hands. That's what happened there. But now Eric Decker, we knew was going to be injured going to the season. But again, he's still a okay wide receiver. He's really a 2, but he'd be your 1 this year. You know, so basically it was Woody Johnson, who's in London supposedly not bothering things, but apparently is, saying, if I'm going to be 0-16 this year or some facsimile of that, I'm not going to spend an extra $13 million on Harris and on this guy. Now here's the problem with that. We don't get it because we're not there. But in football, you only have a finite amount of years. So if you're a player on that team, you know you have a shelf life of anywhere from 1 to 7, and if you're lucky beyond that, years. You now have to put your life on the line knowing you're going to have the worst team, knowing there's going to be no blocking, no catching, no nothing. And it's not baseball where it's a non-contact sport where you can develop players. No, this is if someone misses a tackle or if someone doesn't run the route right or whatever, you're getting hit. And they're going to go and just – they're so bad. And Patriot fans don't complain about the ticket prices going up because they're too busy buying championship T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Jets fans don't get any break in their tickets. So, you know what? I have someone who told me, so they deserve it.
Yeah.
If you're a fan who's buying season tickets to the Jets, shame on you.
Yeah.
Because this is how they thank you. This is what they do to you.
And it goes to the point that they really need the stadium.
Yeah.
So
It's
I forgot.
it's a crime. It really is a crime that they've done this. And in June, they're releasing guys. Who releases people in June?
Oh, yeah. So my question was, do you throw Hackenberg into this mess?